This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Dennis House. Straight ahead today, the 2026 races are ramping up from tolls to who should be governor. We're talking with state representatives Matt Blumenthal, a Democrat, and Joe Polletta, a Republican. There's a new mayor in Middletown. Gene Nocera will join me to talk about what's new in his city. And remember the Preppy Handbook? It's back, sort of. Well, we'll meet the president of the Preppy Handbook fan club, Matthew Longcore. But first, the lead. We are breaking down the legislative session and looking ahead to 2026. Joining me now are two state representatives from the Capitol. We have Joe Polletta, a Republican from Waterbury, and Matt Blumenthal, a Democrat from Stamford. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Dennis.
And I want to ask you first, Representative Blumenthal, about, last month you wrote an op-ed piece about the fact that you believe that sending Marines into Los Angeles or other situations is illegal. Why is that?
Well, there are a number of provisions of our constitutional and federal law that prevent Marines from being used in this circumstance. But I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that the mission of the Marine Infantry is to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire or maneuver, or to repel the enemy assault by fire in close combat. And that is not a law enforcement mission. It's a provocative step. It's a mission that they haven't been properly trained for, and it's one that's both dangerous to the rule of law and to our Constitution, but also corrosive to the morale and discipline of the Marines themselves. Marines, like me, I was a Marine infantry officer, signed up to defend America against its enemies, not to police its civilians on American soil.
I want to get into the state legislature now. So you're both sort of out of session right now, but it's a part-time job, but it's full-time, right? Your constituents are still calling you and wanting to get stuff done. What does a state representative do during that off season?
So for one, a lot of us do end of session recaps, and it's great to get into the community and hear from our constituents about what they loved about the legislative session, or maybe what perhaps they did not love about the legislative session. For one, the state budget is by far the most important thing that we do as legislators. In particular, in my district, there was a large outcry for middle class tax relief, which unfortunately did not happen here in the state of Connecticut. And a lot of people are still feeling the pinch here, and they're saying that it is very expensive to live, to work, and to remain in the state of Connecticut. And that is probably one of the most important things, as I said, that we can do, but one of the top things that I hear in my district is about affordability.
In your judgment, overall, was it a good session? Did you accomplish a lot?
I think overall we did a lot of good stuff. I think we took some important action on affordability. We took strong action to attack the problem of affordability in childcare, for instance. We established a childcare trust fund that's going to increase access and reduce costs for families. Right now, the cost of childcare is out of control. We delivered a $250 refundable tax credit for working families, and we took a number of other measures to rein in overbearing corporate influence. We increased the strength of our price gouging law, and so we took important action on that, on utilities, but certainly there's much more work to be done.
As you look ahead to 2026, what's your top priority? What would you like to see accomplished in the next session?
Well, for one, I'd like to see the cost of living and taxes get cut here for all residents across the board. I've been calling for that since this is my fifth session. And I was happy to vote for the bipartisan budget in 2017 that enacted the strongest fiscal guardrails that we've ever seen here in the state of Connecticut. Unfortunately, those were undone this year. But this time around, I'd like to see some real middle-class tax relief. We didn't see that in the budget. Actually, I asked that question, Dennis, on the House floor as the ranking member of the Finance, Revenue, and Bonding Committee. Is there anything in this budget that cuts taxes and creates affordability for the middle class? The answer is no. And that is what I think people care most about. Their electric bills are very high. We pay some of the highest gas tax in the country here in the state of Connecticut. We need to do more as a legislature. I mean, we work in a bipartisan way. Don't get me wrong. 85% of the bills are voted on in a bipartisan way, and I think we do a great job at that, and I can speak for my good colleague here. But I think there is that part of the legislature that needs to do a better job at creating a more affordable Connecticut.
I'll let you respond to what he said.
Yeah, I think we've taken some strong action on affordability, and so I respectfully disagree with my good colleague here. I think we have to do a lot more on the affordability of energy. We've taken some measures this year to remove the public benefits charge from people's bills, but we need to take stronger institutional action on behalf of the people of Connecticut to make sure that all the costs that are on their bills are justified and necessary, and that the projects that are being built by the utilities are justified and necessary. And right now, it certainly doesn't seem to be the case. I think we have to take stronger action on that.
Last week on this program, we had Josh Elliott on, state representative, colleague of both of yours, who is now running for governor, challenging Governor Lamont, who hasn't officially announced that he's going to run yet. And he said that one of his priorities, if he is elected governor, would be to call for tolls. Do you support tolls?
I'm going to respectfully disagree with my colleague on that. At this point, we don't really need tolls as a source of revenue. I don't think the accomplishment by our federal delegation and President Biden of the bipartisan infrastructure law has given us billions of dollars to rebuild our roads and infrastructure, and I think we should focus that money where it can best be spent to improve the lives of Connecticut residents.
Most Republicans are against tolls. I assume you are.
Absolutely. And look, as my colleague said here, we don't need another revenue stream here in Connecticut. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. Tolls are another word for tax. And we went through this already. Governor Lamont gave up on tolls, and he has recently said that Connecticut does not want tolls. So I do disagree with my colleague from Hamden. We do not need tolls. We do not want tolls. They are another tax. And unfortunately, it is a small group of folks that are pushing this notion that we need to raise taxes. We need to get more revenue. But where does that money go? And the average Connecticut resident that I speak about a lot, that middle class resident that lives in Connecticut that pays taxes, is saying, where's my tax money going? Now you're going to charge me to use the highways. It doesn't make sense. It should not happen. That bill should not come up. We should put this to bed once and for all.
I want to start with you on this one because the governor's race is next year, 2026, already underway. There is one official Republican candidate, Jen Tooker, two others looking at it. We have Aaron Stewart, who is raising money for it in an exploratory campaign. Ryan Fazio is talking about it, perhaps another Republican as well. Who do you support in this race so far?
So I have not come out and support any candidate yet for the mere reason that it is way too early. I mean, we're still a year and a half out, and I think that the Republican Party has put forth three great candidates potentially that are running for governor, and they all have their strengths and their weaknesses. But I just want to say, Dennis, that all politics is local. The House of Representatives, very important here in the state of Connecticut. You can directly influence state politics by electing your state rep, and that's where my focus has been, is on the Connecticut State House. I think we need to do a better job of getting more Republicans elected.
And let's talk about the Democratic side. Governor Lamont is leaning toward running, everybody says, and he's told me that as well, but no official announcement yet. Josh Elliott, of course, jumped into the race, saying that the governor isn't really progressive enough. Where do you stand on this issue? So, candidates right now.
Yeah, so I think the governor has earned the right to make his decision in his own time, and if he does choose to run, which it seems like based on some public comments he has made he will do, I am confident that I would support him.
You would support him, okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the, the situation with Democrats. Obviously, presidentially, it's been a difficult, run for the, well, not run, but, period for the Democrats. They're shut out of everything in Washington right now, the House, the Senate, and the White House. What do Democrats have to do to get back into some power?
Well, I think we have to be really clear about the stakes of not only the elections that come next, but the work that we do every day. We have to make clear to the people of Connecticut and the people across the country how terrible this Trump Republican budget bill is. It's going to throw roughly 17 million people off of their health care. It's going to blow a hole in the budget, explode the deficit, risk our economy for the future. It's going to create real problems here in Connecticut. And so I think we need to do a better job of educating people about what is happening. And we also need to do things and talk about them that are going to improve people's lives here in Connecticut. I think some of the work we've done on childcare affordability, on energy affordability, is doing that work, but there's more of it to be done.
And where do you stand on the big, beautiful bill, which is now the law of the land?
I support the big, beautiful bill, Dennis, and let me tell you something. It's about time that we have a president that has brought law and order back to the country. The border is closed and is the most secure that it has been in the history of our country. Border crossings are down 98%. I think that's President Trump's greatest accomplishment so far in office. We saw crime out of control around the entire country. We're finally seeing that start to rein in. People care about their safety. Public safety is number one. We are respected on the world stage. We're seeing what's happening. Just look what happened in Iran. We are respected again. There was a time under the Biden administration where where, we didn't even know if he knew what he was doing. This is the reason what propelled President Trump to win, and for Republicans to have a historic victory and win both chambers and the presidency. As you said, shut out the Democrats. So people wanted change and they got it. Now, look, I don't know, the big beautiful bill for Connecticut, there could be some cuts. We have a wonderful rainy day fund that we should look at if we need to tap into it.
And a quick final question for you. Would you be interested in running for Congress in the 5th?
No, thank you.
Ruling it out.
I'm ruling it out right now. Yes, thank you, though.
Matt Blumenthal and Joe Polletta, two state representatives, Democrat, Republican. I appreciate you being on the program today.
Thanks for having me.
And when we come back, we'll meet the new mayor of Middletown, who replaced Ben Florsheim, who resigned for personal reasons last month.